We, the undersigned, believing that the time has come for those in the more prosperous sections of the Union to extend the hand of a cordial fellowship and generous assistance to the impoverished people of the South, and believing the education of those whose mental training has been so long suspended to be the most direct and efficient means of affording the orphan and disabled a permanent relief, and regarding that institution which bears the name of Washington and shared his liberal benefactions as the most desirable point for creating an educational fund whose benefits shall be shared by all the Southern states, do hereby express our approval of the holding a public meeting for the promotion of the ends herein recited, and request the daily papers to give due notice of the same. Pursuant to this call, a public meeting was held in the Cooper Institute, New York, on General Washington's birthday, 1868. Henry Ward Beecher read 5 resolutions favoring support for Washington College and President Robert E. Lee. The resolutions were adopted. When the applause which followed the reading of them had subsided, Mr. Beecher introduced Professor Roswell D. Hitchcock, who spoke as follows.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I have of course given some thought to the subject embodied in the resolutions to which your attention has just been directed, or I should not be here to address you. But I did not expect to be called up quite so soon. My remarks must therefore have less of fullness and of method than I could have wished. Nor can I pretend to any very special acquaintances with the past history or present condition of the institution in whose behalf we are now assembled. It is enough for me that it is an old college in old Virginia, bearing the honored name of Washington, its virtual founder, that its seat is Lexington, a good old Massachusetts name, and that it has been crippled by the war, which has crippled so much else at the South, that it's presided over by the most admired and trusted of all leaders of the South, and that hundreds of Southern young men are now flocking to it, or looking towards it, for the instruction and training which shall fit them for professional and public service under the greatly changed conditions of our common national life. This college is in need of funds that must come largely from the more opulent and prosperous North. Our assistance is asked for by the college itself. This willingness to be helped by Northern hands implies a great deal. It implies something at least of the old national sentiment surviving the 4 years of bitter conflict. It implies an honest purpose to forget the things that are behind and look forward to the better future now opening before us. This appeal for Northern assistance, let it be well understood, does not address itself to any sympathy, latent or other, with the rebellion. The armed champions of that rebellion who gave such brave and abundant proof of their sincerity would be the last to question our sincerity or ask us now to belie our record. The 2 interpretations of our Constitution, which had from the first been wrangled in debate, came at last to blows. The God of battles was invoked to decide between us. The decision has been made. The controversy is closed. On our part, we have nothing to retract, nothing to regret. We did nothing in anger. We simply believed in union as against confederacy and fought for it with all our treasures and all our might. We mourn the loss of many lives. We groan and stagger beneath an enormous burden of debt. But we cannot reproach ourselves for the part we had to play. No. By the souls of those who fell at Donelson, at Corinth, at Vicksburg, at Chattanooga, and at Gettysburg, we have nothing to retract, nothing to regret. Thank God these battles are never to be repeated. On both sides we've buried our dead and accept the issue. The Confederacy is gone. The Union is established. And now let us all combine
to bury the dead past. Nor does this appeal for Northern assistance address itself to personal sympathy with the head of this college, in his recent capacity as military head of the rebellion, of General Lee as the leader of Southern armies, striking at the life of the nation. I have nothing now to say. But General Lee laid down his arms at Appomattox Courthouse and is now Robert E. Lee, withdrawn from public life and doing all he can, both by precept and example, to repair the ruins of war. His conduct, as far as I know, has been singularly honorable and exemplary. There is no man in all the South less likely to make us trouble in the time to come. We of the North must consider what he has lost in losing his cause, and not demand too much of him. If Southern enthusiasm still kindles towards him, let us not think strangely of it. So long as he maintains his present seemingly reserve with respect to public matters, as a Christian scholar doing honestly the scholar's work, where such work is so sorely needed, let us be content. This cause is the cause of letters, which knows no boundaries of state or sections, and should be prompt to dismiss all resentments. State institutions will never be popular, and never ought to be popular on this continent. Our best colleges have been endowed by private benefactions, and within the last 5 years, these benefactions have multiplied beyond all precedent. Millions have been contributed, as they were never contributed by princely hands to endow the older institutions of Europe. The South is weak in this regard, and weaker than ever since the war. She must be strengthened at once, and strengthened by Northern bounty. Harvard College is not enough for the country. It is not enough for the North. It's not enough for Massachusetts even. 4 colleges are not too many for Massachusetts. Every state should have a college or colleges of its own, 1 or more as the case may be. The more we have, the smaller to be sure they must be, but the larger the number of young men we shall educate. If the higher universities are called for, we may be sure we shall have them in their time. But we cannot wait for them to grow. The young men of the nation are crowding rapidly upon the stage. The courses of our life are swift. The boys of today will soon be in the halls of Congress making our laws, and we must make haste to train them the best we can for their work. Man is mortal. Institutions are immortal. Washington College in Virginia, already nearly 3/4 of a century old, will still be doing its work long after we and all this living generation have gone under the sod. Finally, I ask you to help this college as a peace offering to the South. We have met as foes on many bloody fields, and we have learned to respect each other. The battles went hard enough for us, if they went still harder for them. If we were then brave, we can now well afford to be generous. Nay, as we then conquered, we are bound to be generous. Am I told that we should wait for the conquered to make the first advances? But is this orthodox? I would like to know if the redemption provided for our fallen human race was sent only after it was asked for, not as I read the scriptures. But redemption was provided and sent in advance of all our asking, was sent to beget in us the very repentance it requires. These men of the South are our brethren. We are all Americans with a great future before us, such as no nation has ever had. And we must live together in peace and amity. We want no Poland, for we are not prepared to pay the price of governing a Poland. We want no Hungary. We want no Irish thorn in our side. We want content, happy, loving states. And we will have them, God helping us. Be it ours then to reach forth the strong right hand of fellowship. Do you tell me it will be spurned? I do not pretend to know the South better than you do, But I do know something about human nature, and I tell you, it will not be spurned. Kindness is omnipotent. Let us try it and trust in it.